Hello and welcome to another Barnett screencast. Today we're going to do the doghouse tutorial. To get yourself started, go ahead and go to Google Drive. You can press New, More, and then Sketchup for Schools. Okay, the reason we're using Sketchup for Schools instead of Sketchup on the desktop is this one's going to save automatically to Google Drive. They all have the same tools and things. A lot of times when you open up the second time, it does have a memory if you were working on something. So if it crashes, you can just click yes. We want a blank one, so we're going to do no. Okay, we're going to go new model and then simple template, feet and inches. Okay, from here, okay, I'm going to change my camera angle. I'm going to try and get myself just a little bit over. I like to work with the origin in the bottom left-hand corner, so I'm kind of working out in this area. Okay, what I'm going to do is grab the rectangle tool, and I'm going to go from the origin. I'm going to draw a 10-foot by 10-foot square. Now remember, you cannot click down here. You just start typing on your keyboard. Apostrophes are for feet, commas are for in between, and then quotation marks are for inches. Okay, and then I just press enter and it'll resize it. Okay, if it does not work, just do Control Z and redraw it and retype it in. Okay, now we're going to draw the doghouse. Okay, so we're going to get ourselves 4 feet by 3 feet. Okay, should look about like this. I'm going to grab the push-pull tool and I'm going to pull this up by 3 feet. There we go. We've got kind of the basic shape for our doghouse. Next, I'm going to do the roof. Now, this is a new tool here. This is going to be the line tool, so you can press L or click on it. Now, I'm going to go to the back edge, and I'm going to find the midpoint. So it's going to hover right there. I'm going to go right over here until it says the midpoint. Then I'm going to click. That's going to anchor the first part of the line on the midpoint. All right. Now, the line's going to turn different colors depending on which way you look. Now, you want your camera angle kind of looking in this general angle. Okay, if it turns green, it's parallel with the green axis. If it turns red, it's parallel with the red axis. We want it to go blue, which is parallel with the blue axis. Okay, and then I'm just going to type in 18 inches, enter. Okay, it's anchored from there right now, so I'm going to go to that angle again. So I've got a little triangle like that. Same thing I'm going to do this side. I'm going to grab my eraser, erase the center, push-pull tool. Now, when you drag this across, sometimes what will happen is it'll create a hole in the side. Now, it didn't do it for me, but if it does, I'm going to hold down Control so you get this little plus. It's going to create a brand new surface on top. So it'll leave that one and do a new surface. I'm going to drag that across. Now, as I'm holding down my mouse button, I want to make sure you don't need to keep it here. You can put it on any face you want. I could reference the origin. I could reference this side. I'm going to reference this face, so it means that this is completely flat there. Okay. I could also type in 4 feet, but I wanted to show you referencing because it's really handy. All right. Next thing is we're going to make some eaves. To do the eaves, okay, this is where you have like waterfall where it comes out and falls off so it doesn't run on the side of your house. There's a bunch of different ways. The way we're going to do it is we're just going to push in the house by 3 inches. And then we're also going to do it on all other sides. Now, SketchUp has a memory, so if you double click, it'll actually do it on all sides. It'll remember what you did and it'll repeat it. So because I pushed in by 3 inches, it knows to push this one in by 3 inches as well. Okay. I want a bit of an eave up top. So to do that, I'm going to grab what's called the offset tool. I'm going to grab the offset tool, and I'm going to click and drag. I'm just going to kind of show about where I want it. Right about there. I'm going to grab my line tool, and I need to actually extend this line down. So when I push this bottom lip in, okay, it actually connects to the edge. So to do this, I'm going to click right here on the end point, and then I want it to reference this line. So I'm not clicking, I'm just hovering on this line so it knows what I'm trying to reference. Then I'm going to come over here. It's going to turn pink. And I want it to go pink and say on edge. If it does that, you've got it correct. Okay? Same thing on this side. Click on the endpoint, reference this line, get it to turn pink, and say on edge, just like that. Good. Now I can grab the push-pull tool. and we can push this one in by 3 inches. In fact, you can also push this one in by 3 inches, and we are going to have an unnecessary line. We don't need this one, so we can get rid of it. We can get rid of it like that. Okay, don't worry about it changing to white. Just make sure it's not see-through. Okay, again, we got some unnecessary lines here, unnecessary lines there. Boom. Now, if you erase a line and it disappears like this, you want to do Control Z. You got to leave those. A lot of times the edges you have to leave. Okay, we're going to go to the back side and do the same thing. We're going to grab the line tool, or sorry, the offset tool, and we're going to offset this one. Okay, we can do about 1.5 inches, 1.5. Grab our line tool, same thing. Endpoint, reference, on edge, pink like that. Endpoint, and again, notice how I'm zooming in as I do this, so I can actually see accurately what I'm clicking on. I don't know if I'm clicking down here or out there if I'm zoomed out. Okay, erase that. Now we can push in this section right here. Now, again, I could type in 3 inches, but I'm just going to use my referencing, and I'm going to reference that I want it to go to this surface. Okay, same thing, erase right there. So there we've got a nice eave on each side. Okay, very nice looking doghouse here so far. Okay, next we're going to work on the door. To do this, I'm going to grab the rectangle tool. We go to the front side. I'm going to draw a rectangle, and I'm actually going to wait for it to snap to the green and say that it's on face square, meaning all 4 sides are the same distance. I don't mind if it's not centered. If you really want to center it, you can grab the move tool and you can try and scoot it over a little bit. Next, I'm going to grab the arc tool. I'm going to click on that, and I want the 2-point arc, which is the second one down. 2-point arc. Okay, then I'm going to click on an endpoint, click on a second endpoint, drag up until it says half circle. Then I can erase that middle line. There's the start of our door. We're just going to push this one in by 3 inches. And there we go. We've got ourselves the door. All right, now we're going to work on painting surfaces. So I'm going to grab my paint bucket. Okay, and we're going to go to brick and siding. If it's stuck on the house, just change it from materials to the little browse button right here. Okay, brick and cladding. I'm going to grab the siding right here, and I'm just going to paint the sides of my house. Beautiful, just like so. Okay, next I'm going to go back to the browse. I'm going to look for roofing. I'm going to grab some roofing. Do the roof up there. Again, I'm going to go back to browsing, and I'm going to look for colors. Okay, and I'm going to do a black for the door. I'm also going to grab, there's a dark brown right here. I'm going to grab the dark brown, and I'm just going to do the edges like that. You can do whatever color you like. Make your house customized. Same thing there. Same thing there. Same thing there. Okay. And then for the ground cover, I'm going to do vegetation, landscaping, fencing, and vegetation. I'm going to grab a grass, throw some grass out there. All right. All right, last step, we're going to make a dog bowl. We want to make some water for it. So I'm going to grab the shape tool and go to the circle tool, and I'm going to do an 8-inch circle. I'm going to go back to the offset tool. And I'm going to offset this circle by 2 inches. I'm going to grab my paint while I still have it handy, and I'm going to paint this. Now, sometimes what happens is it'll get locked on a surface. So right now you can see the dots are all over this grass, and I actually want to be working on here. So if I right click out in open space, it'll actually cancel out what I'm selected on, which is good. Okay, now we're going to get to the push-pull tool. Okay, again, it locks. I'm going to right click out here. Okay, I'm going to drag up the bowl, and I'm going to bring it up by 5 inches. Okay, and then I'm going to bring up the bottom by 1 inch. Now I want to fill this in with water. So to do that, I'm going to hold down Control. Now this is the same thing if you want to do a swimming pool or anything like that. So pay attention for this. Okay. Rather than dragging this up a second time, I'm going to hold down Control so I get the plus. And I'm going to drag up a second surface to about right there. Now I'm going to go to my paint bucket because right now it's painted with red. I'm going to go and grab water. I'm going to pour some water straight into there. Okay, now that one's not very translucent, so I'm going to change up the water. I want to find one that I can actually see through it. Okay, let's try this one. There we go, very see-through. So now you can actually see the bottom of the dog bowl was still there. We did not lose the bottom red section. Okay, all right, the rest of it, you can add a food bowl if you like. You can add a whatever you like. If you want to add a mini doghouse next to it, totally up to you. When we're done, we're going to click here. We're going to save it as the doghouse. You can place it in a folder inside your classroom and then turn that into Google Drive. That is all for today. Thanks for watching.